Good afternoon. Welcome to Tribune News on Q, your go-to afternoon news source, only here at the Daily Tribune. We're live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Daily Tribune PH on YouTube, and the Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. For this afternoon's headlines. A commission on audit witness told the Senate impeachment court that Sara Duterte was the first vice president to receive confidential funds and intelligence funds, with 612.5 million pesos allocated to the OVP and the Department of Education from late 2022 to 2023. Malacanang defended Gilberto Chodoro Jr. and questioned the remarks of Paulo Duterte, stressing that a lawmaker's allegiance should remain solely with the Philippines amid ongoing tensions in the West Philippine Sea. Malacanang said it will investigate allegations that Acting Health Secretary Jose Brix Pujalte Jr. frequented casinos, adding that he will not be placed on the preventive suspension while the inquiry is ongoing. The Sandigan Bayan denied the prosecution's request to remove former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bunoan as a co-accused in the graft case against Jinggoy Estrada, ruling that the move would prejudice the senator's procedural rights after arraignment. Israel has raised concerns with the United States over a proposed Gaza framework despite Hamas saying it had agreed to disarm, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office saying the publicly released version does not reflect Israel's position. Motorists can expect the first fuel price rollback in weeks, with minimum pump price cuts to 0.73 pesos per liter for gasoline, 0.60 pesos per liter for diesel, and 2 pesos and 9 centavos per liter for kerosene, according to Sharon Garin. Kai Montinola said her journey toward financial literacy began with a simple lesson from her parents, learning the importance of saving before earning and investing. Alex Ayala made history by defeating Jessica Pegula in the Washington Open final to become the first Filipino to win the WTA singles title. Today is the 4th of August 2026, Tuesday, and I'm Eliana Lacap bringing you today's top stories. Now let's move on to this afternoon's headlines. A commission on audit auditor told the Senate impeachment court that Vice President Sara Duterte was the first vice president to receive confidential funds, with the OBP and the Department of Education receiving a combined 612.5 million pesos from late 2022 to 2023. Auditor Roderick Wamil testified that the OVP failed to fully comply with COA documentation requirements, leading to audit findings, a notice of suspension, and the disallowance of 73.3 million pesos from the initial fund release. Prosecutors also presented 15 boxes of documents, while lawmakers questioned the authenticity of several acknowledgement receipts and listed recipients. The Malacanang defended Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. after Davao 1st District Representative Paulo Pulong Duterte questioned his loyalty amid tensions with China over the West Philippine Sea. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the loyalty of every Filipino official should be solely to the Philippines, calling Duterte's remarks alarming and stressing that patriotism is non-negotiable. She added that trade relations with China should not come at the expense of national sovereignty. The statement came after China declared Chodoro and his family persona non grata, a move the Department of Foreign Affairs condemned as an unfriendly act. Now, the Malacanang said it will investigate allegations that newly appointed Acting Health Secretary Jose Brix Pujalte Jr. frequented casinos, with the findings to be submitted to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said Pujalte has not been placed on the preventive suspension while the investigation is ongoing. The complaint alleges he was seen gambling in several Metro Manila casinos, an act prohibited for government officials on the Presidential Decree No. 1869. Meanwhile, the palace said efforts are underway to resolve delayed benefits and performance-based bonuses for health workers dating back to 2021. Now, the Sandigan Bayan 2nd Division denied prosecutors' request to remove former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bunoan as a co-accused in Senator Jinggoy Estrada's graft case. The court ruled that removing Bonoan after Estrada's arraignment would violate the senator's procedural rights and substantially alter the case. However, it said prosecutors may still seek Bonoan's discharge as a state witness at a later stage. The Office of the Ombudsman initially sought his discharge to strengthen its investigation into the alleged multi-billion peso flood control scam, but later claimed Bonoan was withholding key information. Now, Israel has raised concerns with the United States over President Donald Trump's proposed Gaza peace framework, saying the public version does not fully reflect Israel's position. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said intelligence reports indicate Hamas has continued rearming and recruiting despite the October ceasefire. Israel insists any lasting agreement must include the group's verified and irreversible disarmament, while Trump called Hamas's reported willingness to surrender its weapons a major step towards peace. Israel maintained that Gaza must first be fully demilitarized before a permanent agreement can be reached. Now, motorists will get a slight break this week as oil companies implement the first fuel price rollback after several weeks of increases. Energy Secretary Sharon Garin said gasoline prices will drop by 0.73 pesos per liter, and diesel by 60 centavos per liter, and kerosene by 2.9 centavos per liter. Garin welcomed the rollback, saying any price reduction helps ease household and business expenses. However, she warned that fuel prices remain vulnerable to developments in the Middle East, and pump prices are still higher than before the recent surge. The Philippine shares traded lower at the market recess, with the benchmark PSEI declining to 25.38 points or 0.40% to 6,309.34. The All Shares Index also slipped to 9.32 points or 0.27% to 3,420.84. Property posted the steepest decline at 0.70%, followed by holding firms at 0.62%, financials at 0.46%, services at 0.12%, and industrial at 0.06%. Meanwhile, mining and oil was the lone gainer, rising to 0.33%. Now, singer and performer Kai Montinola says her parents taught her the value of financial literacy at a young age, with saying becoming the most important lessons she learned. Kai shared that managing a weekly allowance helped her learn budgeting, including the consequences of overspending. Even now that she earns her own income, she said her parents continue to guide her financial decisions by reminding her to prioritize needs over wants. Looking ahead, Kai hopes to expand her career with more opportunities in singing, performing, and acting. Alex Ayala made history by becoming the first Filipino to win a WTA singles title, defeating world number 3 and top seed Jessica Pegula in the Washington Open final. The 21-year-old completed a stunning comeback after the championship match was suspended overnight because of rain. Ayala's historic title run included victories over Naomi Osaka, Leila Fernandez, Elina Svitolina, and Pegula. The win is expected to propel her to career-high world number 20, marking another major milestone in her rapidly rising tennis career. Now, Kachibu, did you know that on this day in 1964, President Diosdado Macapagal signed Republic Act No. 4166, officially declaring June 12th as the Philippines' Permanent Independence Day. The law also redesignated July 4 as Philippine Republic Day, commemorating the United States' recognition of the Philippine independence in 1946. The move affirmed June 12, 1898, when General Emilio Aguinaldo proclaimed the Philippine independence in Kawit, Cavite, as the nation's true day of self-determination. By enshrining the date into law, RA No. 4166 shifted the focus of the country's national celebration from the recognition of Independence Day by a foreign people or power to the Filipino people's own Declaration of Freedom, a tradition that continues to this day. Now, this afternoon's viral comes from a TikTok video that has racked up 3.4 million views, featuring someone who took the word serve a little too literally. The hilarious clip had netizens laughing as the unexpected twist turned an ordinary moment into comedy gold. Curious what happened? Let's watch this.
Now serving. Number 39 now serving.
And that's all for now. Join us again at 4:30 p.m. still here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Daily Tribune PH on YouTube, and the Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. Once again, I'm Eliana Lacap, and this has been Tribune News on Q.